waiting there. But Achilles was closing on him now like the god of war, the fighter's helmet flashing, over his shoulder shaking the Pelion-ash spear that terror, and the bronze around his body flared like a raging fire or the rising, blazing sun. Hector looked up, saw him, started to tremble, nerve gone. He could hold his ground no longer. He left the gate behind him, and away he fled in fear. And Achilles went for him, fast, sure of his speed, as a wild mountain hawk, the quickest thing on wings, launches smoothly, swooping down on cringing doves, and the dove flits out from under. The hawk screaming over the quarry, plunging over and over, his fury driving him down to beak and tear his kill. So Achilles flew at him, breakneck on in fury, with Hector fleeing along the walls of Troy, fast as his legs would go. On and on they raced, passing the lookout point, passing the wild fig tree, tossed by the wind, always out from under the ramparts. Down the wagon trail they careered, until they reached the clear running springs, where whirling Scamander, rising up its double well springs, bubbling strong. And one runs hot, and steam goes up around it, drifting thick as if fire burned at its core, and the other, even in summer, gushes cold, as hail or freezing snow, or water chilled to ice. And here, close to the springs, lie washing pools, scooped out in the hollow rocks, and broad and smooth, where the wives of Troy and all their lovely daughters would wash their glistening robes in the old days, the days of peace, before the sons of Achaea came. Past these they raced, one escaping, one in pursuit. And the one who fled was great, but the one pursuing greater, even greater, their pace mounting in speed, since both men strove not for a sacrificial beast or oxhide trophy, prizes runners fight for. No, they raced for the life of Hector, breaker of horses. Like powerful stallions sweeping round the post for trophies, galloping full stretch with some fine prize at stake, a tripod say, or a woman offered up at funeral games for some brave hero fallen. So the two of them whirled 3 times around the city of Priam, sprinting at top speed while all the gods gazed down. And the father of men and gods broke forth among them now. Unbearable, a man I love hunted round his own city walls, and right before my eyes, my heart grieves for Hector. Hector who burned so many oxen in my honor, rich gods. And now on the rugged crest of Ida, now on Ilium's heights, but look, now brilliant Achilles courses him round the city of Priam in all his savage, lethal speed. Come, you immortals, think this through, decide. Either we pluck the man from death and save his life, or strike him down at last here at Achilles' hands for all his fighting heart. But immortal Athena, her gray eyes wide, protested strongly. Father, Lord of the Black Lightning, King of the Black Cloud, what are you saying? A man, a mere mortal, his doom sealed long ago? You'd set him free from all the pains of death? Do as you please, but none of the deathless gods will ever praise you. And Zeus, who marshals the thunderheads, replied, Courage, Athena, third born of the gods' dear child. Nothing I said was meant in earnest. Trust me, I mean you all the good will in the world. Go, and do as your own impulse bids you. Hold back no more. So he launched Athena, already poised for action. Down the goddess swept from Olympus's craggy peaks. And swift Achilles kept on coursing Hector non-stop. So Hector could never throw Achilles off his trail, the swift racer Achilles. Time and again he'd make a dash for the Dardan Gate, try to rush beneath the rock-built ramparts, hoping men on the heights might save him, somehow raining spears. But time and again Achilles would intercept him quickly, heading him off, forcing him out across the plain, and always sprinting along the city side himself. Endless, as in a dream, when a man can't catch another man fleeing on ahead, and he can never escape, nor his rival overtake him. so the one could never run the other down in his speed, nor the other spring away. And how could Hector have fled the fate of death so long? How, unless one time, one final time, Apollo had swept in close behind him, driving strength in his legs and knees to race the wind. And brilliant Achilles shook his head at the armies, never letting them hurl their sharp spears at Hector. Someone might snatch the glory. Achilles come in second. But once they reached the spring for the fourth time, the father Zeus held out his sacred golden scales. In them he placed two fates of death that lays men low, one for Achilles, one for Hector, breaker of horses. And gripping the beam mid-shaft, the father raised it high, and down went Hector's day of doom, dragging him down to the strong house of death. And god Apollo left him. Athena rushed to Achilles, her bright eyes gleaming, standing shoulder to shoulder, winging orders now. At last, our hopes run high, my brilliant Achilles. Father Zeus must love you. We'll sweep great glory back to Achaea's fleet. We'll kill this Hector, mad as he is for battle. No way for him to escape us now. No longer, not even if Phoebus, the distant deadly archer, goes through torments, pleading for Hector's life, groveling over and over before our storming father Zeus. But you hold your ground and catch your breath, while I run down Hector and persuade the man to fight you face to face. So Athena commanded, and he obeyed, rejoicing at heart. Achilles stopped, leaning against his ashen spear, barbed in bronze. And Athena left him there, caught up with Hector at once, and taking the build and vibrant voice of Deiphobus, stood shoulder to shoulder with him, winging orders. Dear brother, how brutally swift Achilles hunts you, coursing you round the city of Priam in all his lethal speed. Come, let us stand our ground together. Beat him back. Deiphobus, Hector, his helmet flashing, called out to her. Dearest of all my brothers, all these warring years, of all the sons that Priam and Hecuba produced, now I'm determined to praise you all the more. You who dared, seeing me in these straits, to venture out from the walls, all for my sake, while the others stay inside and cling to safety. The goddess answered quickly, her eyes blazing. True, dear brother, how your father and mother both implored me time and again, clutching my knees, and the comrades round me begging me to stay. Such was the fear that broke them, man for man, while the heart within me broke with grief for you. Now, headlong on and fight, no let up. Athena luring him on with all her immortal cunning. And now, at last, as the two came closing for the kill, it was tall Hector, helmet flashing, who led off. No more running from you in fear, Achilles, not as before. 3 times I fled around the great city of Priam. I lack the courage, then, to stand your onslaught. Now, my spirit stirs me to meet you face to face. Now kill or be killed. Come, we'll swear to the gods, the highest witnesses. The gods will oversee our binding pacts. I swear I will never mutilate you, merciless as you are, if Zeus allows me to last it out and tear your life away. But once I've stripped your glorious armor, Achilles, I will give your body back to your loyal comrades. Swear you'll do the same. A swift dark glance, and the headstrong runner answered, Hector, stop, you unforgivable, you! Don't talk to me of pacts. There are no binding oaths between men and lions. Wolves and lambs can enjoy no meetings of the minds. They're all bent on hating each other to the death. So with you and me, no love between us, no truce. Till one or the other falls and gluts with blood Ares, who hacks at men behind his rawhide shield. Come, call up whatever courage you can muster, life or death. Now prove yourself a spearman, a daring man of war. No escape for you. Athena will kill you with my spear in just a moment. Now you'll pay at a stroke for all my comrades' grief. All you killed in the fury of your spear. With that, shaft poised, he hurled, and his spear's long shadow flew, But seeing it coming, glorious Hector ducked away, crouching down, watching the bronze tip fly past and stab the earth. But Athena snatched it up and passed it back to Achilles, and Hector, the gallant captain, never saw her. He sounded out a challenge to Peleus' royal son. "You missed! Look! The great god like Achilles! So you knew nothing at all from Zeus about my death, and yet how sure you were, all bluff, cunning with words. That's all you are, trying to make me fear you. Lose my nerve, forget my fighting strength. Well, you'll never plant your lance in my back as I flee you in fear, plunge it through my chest as I come charging in, if a god gives you the chance. But now it's for you to dodge my brazen spear. I wish you'd bury it in your body to the hilt. How much lighter the war would be for Trojans then, if you, their greatest scourge, were dead and gone." Shaft poised, he hurled, and his spear's long shadow flew, and it struck Achilles' shield, a dead center hit. But off and away it glanced, and Hector seethed. His hurtling spear, his whole arm's power poured in a wasted shot. He stood there, cast down. He had no spear in reserve, so Hector shouted out to Deiphobus, bearing his white shield. With a ringing shout, he called for a heavy lance. But the man was nowhere near him, vanished. Yes, and Hector knew the truth in his heart, and the fighter cried aloud, "My time has come. At last the gods have called me down to death. I thought he was at my side, the hero Deiphobus. He's safe inside the walls. Athena tricked me blind, and now death, grim death, is looming up beside me, no longer far away, no way to escape it now. This was their pleasure after all. Sealed long ago, Zeus and the son of Zeus, the distant deadly archer, though often before they rushed to my defense. So now I meet my doom. Well, let me die, but not without struggle, not without glory, no. In some great clash of arms that even men to come will hear of down the years." And on that resolve, he drew the whetted sword that hung at his side, tempered, massive, and gathering all his force, he swooped like a soaring eagle, launching down from the dark clouds to earth to snatch some helpless lamb or trembling hare. So Hector swooped now, swinging his whetted sword, and Achilles charged too, bursting with rage, barbaric, guarding his chest with the well-wrought blazoned shield, head tossing his gleaming helmet, 4 horns strong, and the golden plumes shook that the god of fire drove in, bristling thick along its ridge, bright as that star amid the stars in the night sky, star of the evening, brightest star that rides the heavens. So fire flared from the sharp point of the spear of Achilles, brandishing high in his right hand, bent on Hector's death, scanning his splendid body, where to pierce it best. The rest of his flesh seemed all encased in armor, burnished, brazen, Achilles' armor that Hector stripped from strong Patroclus when he killed him, true. But one spot lay exposed, where the collarbone lifts the neckbone off the shoulders, the open throat, where the end of life comes quickest. There, as Hector charged in fury, brilliant Achilles drove his spear, and the point went stabbing clean through the tender neck. But the heavy bronze weapon failed to slash the windpipe. Hector could still gasp out some words, some last reply. He crashed in the dust. God-like Achilles gloried over him. "Hector, surely you thought when you stripped Patroclus' armor that you would be safe, never a fear of me, far from the fighting as I was. You fool, left behind there, down by the beach ships, his great avenger waited, a greater man by far. That man was I, and I smashed your strength, and you, the dogs and birds will maul you. Shame your corpse, while Achaeans bury my friend in glory." Struggling for breath, Hector, his helmet flashing, said, "I beg you, beg by your life, your parents, don't let the dogs devour me by the Argive ships. Wait, take the princely ransom of bronze and gold, the gifts my father and noble mother will give you. But give my body to friends to carry home again, so Trojan men and Trojan women can do me honor. with fitting rites of fire once I'm dead. Staring grimly, the proud runner answered, "Beg no more, you fawning dog, begging me by my parents. Would to God my fury would drive me now to hack your flesh away and eat you raw. Such agonies you've caused me. Ransom, no man alive could keep the dog packs off you, not if they haul in 10, 20 times that ransom and pile it here before me and promise fortunes more. No, not even if Dardan Priam should offer to weigh your bulk in gold. Not even then will your noble mother lay you on your deathbed, mourn the son she bore. The dogs and birds will rend you, blood and bone." At the point of death, Hector, his helmet flashing, said, "I know you well. I see my fate before me. Never a chance that I could win you over. Iron in your chest, that heart of yours. But now beware, or my curse will draw God's wrath upon your head. That day when Paris and Lord Apollo, for all your fighting heart, destroy you at the Sacaean gates." Death cut him short. The end closed in around him, flying free of his limbs. His soul went winging down to the house of death, wailing his fate, leaving his manhood far behind, his young and supple strength. But brilliant Achilles taunted Hector's body, dead as he was. "Die! Die! For my own death, I'll meet it freely, whenever Zeus and the other deathless gods would like to bring it on." With that, he wrenched his bronze spear from the corpse, laid it aside, and ripped the bloody armor off the back. And the other sons of Achaea, running up around him, crowded closer, all of them gazing, wonderstruck, at the build and marvelous lithe beauty of Hector. And not a man came forward who did not stab his body. Glancing towards a comrade, laughing, "Ah, look here, how much softer he is to handle now, this Hector, than when he gutted our ships with roaring fire." Standing over him, so they'd gloat and stab his body. But once he'd stripped the corpse, the proud runner Achilles took his stand in the midst of all the Argive troops and urged them on with a flight of winging orders. "Friends, lords of the Argives, O my captains, now that the gods have let me kill this man who caused us agonies, loss on crushing loss, more than the rest of all their men combined. Come, let us ring their walls and armor, test them, see what recourse the Trojans may still have in mind. Will they abandon the city heights with this man fallen, or brace for a last dying stand though Hector's gone?" But wait, what am I saying? Why this deep debate? Down by the ships a body lies unwept, unburied. Patroclus. I will never forget him, not as long as I'm still among the living. And my springing knees will lift and drive me on, though the dead forget their dead in the house of death. I will remember, even there, my dear companion. Now, come, you sons of Achaea, raise a song of triumph. Down to the ships we march and bear this corpse on high. We have won ourselves great glory. We have brought magnificent Hector down, the man the Trojans glorified in their city like a god. So he triumphed, and now he was bent on outrage, on shaming noble Hector. Piercing the tendons ankle to heel behind both feet, he knotted straps of rawhide through them both, lashed them to his chariot, left the head to drag, and mounting the car, hoisting the famous arms abroad, he whipped his team to a run, and breakneck on they flew, holding nothing back. And a thick cloud of dust rose up from the man they dragged, his dark hair swirling round, the head so handsome once, all tumbled low in the dust, since Zeus had given him over to his enemies now, to be defiled in the land of his own fathers.